Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this simple front flap card. It's called that because it simply has a flap on the front. So the sides are stuck down, but it's really quite an effective, fun little card to make, and it makes up in seconds. So I did these sort of as samples to show you. Got the monochromatic one. This one I'll save till the end. I've got this one, because it's a landscape designer series paper, the Thoughtful Journeys, a 6x6. The whole pattern of it flows across the front. They actually all go together, but it only really matters in this one, so you can see the flow. And this one, I'd actually seen, I think it was Karen had made it, and I thought, oh, that's an interesting angle on it. I've made some of these before. I've actually made one where the piece is stuck on the front, but this one, as you'll see, has got like a little bend in the middle, and it folds up to be an easel card. So it looks like that on the shelf. It's got the little side piece with a little one at the front and the nice little fold in the middle, but they all of course go flat to fit in a standard envelope. But what I like, when I was looking at all my cardstocks and designer series papers, was I discovered that because there's so many small, I'll leave the monochromatic one in the corner because I usually do that, don't I? Is I have all the, after I've made all these other cards that need the different sizes, I've got all these pieces left over. And what I have got to show you is this card, because it's so simple and it doesn't really require much, I'm going to make it out of scraps. So these are the pieces that I had lying around. Actually, you'll see this, I actually fussy cut out of there and then changed my mind. So I'm actually going to use it now, since I went to the trouble of fussy cutting it. But it's got this piece, so let me show you how to make it. As always, of course, the directions and the dimensions will be on my blog, so you can pop on over there to find, you know, the cutting angles and all that good stuff. So I'll bring in the paper trimmer. So this is a regular piece of cardstock, and it's 8.5 by 5.5. And we are going to score it at 4 1/4, but I thought I would just go from start to finish, soup to nuts. So we'll score it at the 4 1/4 mark. I'm actually going to stand up, which puts me closer to the camera. So if I suddenly become loud, you'll know why. So what we need to do then is we need to cut the side piece is 1 1/4 inches. And the great thing about the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer is it's got up to 1.5 inches on this side of the cutting blade, so it supports the rest. So we'll line it up at 1 1/4, and then we're going to cut from the score line, you can see where the score line is, to the end. And then we're going to do that on the other side. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do it down here. Whoops. So again, I'm just going to line it up at 4 1/4, 4 1/4. I'm going to line it up at 1 1/4 on the paper trimmer and go back to where the score line is at 4 1/4 and cut down. So now we've got the two flaps at the side. So let me sit back down so I'm not yelling into the camera, and then we'll go ahead and we will fold these pieces into place. You could fold it first, but I prefer to cut it while before the score line is bent over. So we've just got the pieces like that, and then what we need to do is stick these two flaps down. So in order that they don't open, try and open, I'm actually going to stick them with the liquid glue. You can use the tear and tape, but liquid glue is really handy for this job. And I'm just going to bring it back down to where it needs to go, give it a quick little second to dry, and then do the other side. Make sure I'm not sticking my middle piece down. So that's the body of the card, and again, it's the standard size that will fit into an envelope. So I had a piece of designer series paper that was, it was actually 12 inches by an inch, and I just cut it down into two 4-inch sections. So the side pieces are 1 inch by 4 inches. And I'm just going to attach those to the side so they'll fit round with a nice little even layered border. And while I've got it open, I'm going to pop the middle in, and this is 2 3/4 by 4. Because the piece we have left is 3 inches, so 2 3/4 is the 1/4 inch smaller. So we'll pop that in the middle, and that takes care of that. So what we need for the front is the same size as the inside. It needs to be 2 3/4 by 4. So I'm going to bring back in the paper trimmer, and this is the piece where I had fussy cut the flowers out of. So I'll cut it to 4. Oops. Pop that off to one side. This can go back into my little scraps collection, and I'll line it up at 2 3/4 and trim that off. So we've now got a piece of designer series paper to go on the front. And then those of you who follow my channel, thank you very much by the way, may remember I did a card that had a window out of it, and this was the piece. And normally when I cut circles and save them, oh, you could save this for another project. Well, today the project has arrived. It is today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that onto there, and I'm actually going to pop the flowers on, and then there will be a little hello. And I had made this already. It was one of my, here's one I made earlier. Then I decided I might see how it looks with the petunia pop, because then it ties in all the colours of this little bouquet. So the way we do that is I'm actually going to use the hello from Simply Said, and I've got a little piece of cardstock, which was just a scrap. It's 3/4 of an inch wide by however long it needs to be. So we'll stamp hello, but petunia pop is quite a strong colour. No, I think I'll do the strong one. So what we need to do is take the snips and just cut it a little distance from the edge. Ooh, cut it straight a little distance from the edge. And then what you can do is cut it up the middle, and then cut from each point, each edge to that middle, and it will give you a nice little banner. So we'll do it again. So we'll just eyeball where the middle is. I mean, if you wanted to, if you were nervous, you could measure it on the back and leave a little pencil dot, and then cut both sides. Oops, there we go. And then we've got a little greeting which can go there, and then it ties all the colours of this lovely Unbounded Beauty designer series paper in together. So what I'll do is I will actually stick this down, so we'll hide away the lovely unmatching orange, peachy orange side. I've got the little fussy cut flowers and the hello. So I will bring in some dimensionals. And pop some of those on the back of there, and then 2 on the back of the greeting. Peel the backing papers off real quickly. Pop that out of the shot. And there you have it. Quick and easy, simple front flap card It's made using all scraps that I had left over, and like I said, this one was one that I said, oh, you can use this for another project, and ta-da, another project has a ribbon. So here's the cards. Let me bring back in the ones that we'd already made, bearing in mind this one is the little easel card. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up. I always like thumbs up. As I said, all the directions and dimensions will be on my blog. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.